Hey reader fam, today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, opinions, and feels on And I Darken by Kiersten White. Now this was the Booksplosion Book of the Month for the month of July, and we've already had our live show, so I will leave a link down below to that live show recording, so if you want to hear all our thoughts, all our spoilery thoughts, I will link you to that video so you can go check that out. Now I'll be honest here, I've been pretty iffy about some of other Kiersten White's books. I read the Mind Games duology and I felt very meh about it, and I also read her book In the Shadows, and again I felt very meh about it, but then I read And I Darken and I was blown away. Where has this Kiersten White been? I don't know, but I'm glad that I gave her books another chance because I adored this book. Now if you don't know what And I Darken is, I will try to tell you what it's about, but it's kind of complicated to explain. Essentially this is an alternate historical retelling of Vlad the Impaler, but instead of Vlad being a bro, instead he's a girl named Lada in this book. So in this book we follow Lada and her brother Radu, and Lada was supposed to be born a boy, and this leaves her father rather upset because he was dead set on her being a boy. One day Lada and Radu are taken. I put taken in quotation marks because there's more to that story, but I'll let you find that out for yourself. Anyways, they're taken to be raised in the Ottoman courts, and we basically just follow this sibling pair and their time being raised in this new place. I know that that isn't a great explanation, but there's just so much to the story, it's hard to explain it without spoiling it. Something that I loved about this story is how it covers so many different topics throughout it. It's just threaded with so many things. It covers things like religion, toxic relationships, sexism, and just so many other things. I could just tell that Kiersten White completely stepped up her game for this book. Like, I can't even begin to imagine the amount of research that went into this story. It was just so detailed, and she did a fantastic job of just painting up this story. Something that did throw me off a little bit was the fact that going into this, I thought it was going to be a fantasy story, so I was like reading it just waiting for like some magical things to happen, but it never happened because this is not a fantasy story, but it's categorized on Goodreads as fantasy, and that is wrong. There's no fantasy in the story. If there is any fantasy in the story, I completely missed it and it all went over my head. But this is strictly a historical fiction book, so know that going into the story. Don't go into it thinking there will be all these magical elements because there won't be any. I will say that this story was pretty slow at the beginning. It takes some time to really get into the story and for things to really pick up. I would say after like the 200-page mark is when it really started to pick up for me. Mind you, I was getting out of the worst reading slump of my life, so that might have been why it took some time to really get into this story. There is a lot to this story, but I wouldn't go into it expecting this high energy, fast-paced, quick-moving story because it's not that at all. It's a rather slow-moving story, which is okay. It's just not like other YA books where they're just super fast-paced. This one is more chill. Something that I loved about this book is the fact that we follow Lada and Radu from when they're babies to when they're young adults. It was just so fun following them throughout their whole lives, and seeing those development ages just really helps you understand their thought process behind decisions that they make later on in life, and that was just a really neat experience. Lastly, I want to talk about the characters because I think that the characters definitely won this book over for me. I loved Lada. She was such a kick-butt character. She's an anti-hero and she can be straight up twisted, but I loved that about her. And Radu is a little angel sent from above, God bless him. And Nikolai is just an A+ side character. And then there's Mehmed, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Mehmed. And I honestly don't know how I feel about him yet. It's gonna take the next book to fully know if I like him or not. Right now I'm just on the mixed side of things. I'm like, he's just there, and I have weird feelings about him. Also, yes, this is going to be a trilogy, which is super exciting because I loved this first book and I can't wait to get my hands on the second book. And I know for a fact that it's going to get even better with the second book. This one did a fantastic job of just setting the groundwork for everything that's going on and where the story is going to head. So I am beyond excited for what's to come with this trilogy. So those are all my thoughts, opinions, and feels on And I Darken by Kiersten White. You guys should let me know down below if you have read this book and what you thought of it. If you haven't read this book, let me know down below if you are planning to pick it up and read it. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so click subscribe if you want to be notified for when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, chew. Hey reader fam, today I've got a little bit of a different video for you guys.